We must have a meeting about the future battle bus, which I think is what I'm going to call it. But first, today was less work and more shopping for booze. Today I got to be Santa broker because tomorrow's a closing. It's a unique closing. It's a dual agency closing, which is when you represent both sides. And some people get totally freaked out about that you're not representing both equally, or you're only protecting the buyer, or only the seller. I'll say this. I love working with me because I know everything is going to get done on time. Is this on? There's some issues, legal issues, with calling it a mobile office, because if it's an office for a real estate company, it has to be registered with the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. It has to have a BIC, a broker in charge. I do not have my BIC license yet. I need one more year and I can qualify for it. There's all kinds of rules if you call it an office. So I said, okay, so I just can't call it an office. Yes. All right, well, it's the Tactical Offer Command Center. I'll come up with some other name. Actually, I do need some help coming up with a name. And I'd like it to be sort of like an acronym, like SWAT, where it stands for something, but it's easy to say and remember. So we need to come up with that. And then today they said, well, you can't put a sign out front that says agent on duty. I can get creative and say agent off duty, or some kind of sign that says, I'm not allowed to call this a mobile office or say that I'm on duty, but step inside. I'm going to have to get creative with the agent on duty sign. This is where brilliant business ideas are born. And I'll give you a quick story, because you always get one, whether you want it or not. In some town in South Carolina, I don't remember which one, but there were two popcorn makers, like doing it out of their house and selling it at festivals. And they both set their tents up at festivals next to one another. And one guy advertised his popcorn as the best popcorn in the world, like greatest, most flavor, all the positive advertising. And the other guy, they couldn't both have the same sign, because you can't both be the world's best. So he went the other route. It's horrible, you'll hate it. And he slayed. And now his business, 50 plus some odd years later, is still in this little town in South Carolina, and the other guy is gone. So there's an opportunity here to come up with some really savage way around a rule, but also get the point across so that people get it. And some companies have done this, but you really have to be creative. I was thinking today, as I should have been paying attention to the road, and I wasn't, I was up here, was, you know how when you go to like an event or festival and you see people, there's like those wood cutouts and you put your hands and your head through it and like you have a different body, and everyone does it and they take a picture. Well, is there something on the wrapping where people would feel compelled to come up and like take the shape of or pose next to and take a picture? Because then I get free advertising, just the photo. Or could there be signs on it where I could put my clients up next to it where it would look like they were holding a sign, but the sign is on the wrapping and it said, we just bought our house or we sold our house or something like that. Then it'd be really worth it. Anything that you can get people to take a picture and share it online is worth all its money and then some. Tonight, Patreon Tom, and this is just the world working out in my favor, which I really enjoy. Patreon Tom is going to check out an RV for me. He's going to check out a Winnebago Era 70M. This was the one I first fell in love with, sort of. It's a little bit newer. It's not cheap. It's $108,000. It's used. It's had 2 owners. But it has the thing that I want, which is when you pull that door open, you see the couch, table, me, laptop. You see it all right there. The thing that I'm most concerned about the Era is that the Era is a sticks and staples framing. It speaks to the RV industry, but the same thing is happening in the housing industry, is things just like slapped together. When you open up the cabinets in an RV, this is something you should do when you inspect an RV to buy, and you look at the actual framing, and is it like wood pieces and real cabinets, put in there and screwed in, or is it stick furring strips and staples, and that's what's holding up all the cabinetry and everything else. The Era is a sticks and staples frame. That's not to say that that means that everything falls apart on these. It doesn't. It's just not the most impressive level of build for the money. The only other one that fits my needs is the Coachman. The Coachman is built with Amish woodworking, which all you have to hear is Amish and you know that shit is good. I'm talking dovetailed cabinetry, solid wood screwed in. This one is a bit different. The layout to me is not ideal in that when you open up the sliding door, what you see are 2 chairs and a little table. And if I'm not allowed to advertise that I have people in there, is that really going to attract attention? Or, if I'm just sitting with 3 chairs around me and a table, does that draw you in as much? What I do like about that one, not only the construction level, but I do like, since it's known as a touring coach, meaning you don't have more lounging space, but you have more seating space, is that in the event that I did want to bring people around and show them there are legitimate 3 extra seats with seat belts. So if I wanted to show people a neighborhood or community or take them to houses, I could do that and they'd be in a very nice vehicle. So I think that would be very impressive. That said, the days of putting people in your car and driving them around are kind of gone. 10 times out of 10, and I've never offered to put people in my car, but most of the time they just meet you there because they're coming from work, they're coming from the daycare, they're coming from somewhere else. You don't meet at the office and then go, that's 1995. That doesn't happen. And also safety reasons, so you don't really know these people. They don't know you. So it's most of the time we just meet at the house and then they go on their way. We don't go together. However, it could be an option and part of the experience where I say, park your cars, come back here, I get you your water, I get you your snack, and then I'm going to take you. And then that becomes a part of my business where, yes, maybe the norm is that we meet at the house, but if you're working with me, I'm going to ferry you around in this vehicle. I will be exhausted from a whole day of driving people around in my vehicle, but that could be something. So I like the quality. I'm not totally sold on the layout. But they're very, very nice. They are also more expensive. However, there's always a however. This is the hell you go through when you're buying an RV. This will be my 3rd one. And also, this is all red here. This is not a hickey. I bought some new at-home face peel and burnt the hell out of my skin. But I'm sure I'm going to look amazing when it's healed. Positive, 100%. It's in the reviews. The Coachman is doing what really is the future of, I believe, the RV industry in that their new 22, and I think some of the 21 models, even maybe earlier, are now coming with these large lithium-ion systems and a solar panel. I do hate solar, a lot. And please do not ask me why in the comments. I've spent, 2 years on YouTube explaining why I hate solar. But the lithium-ion allows you to essentially get rid of the plug in a lot of ways. And it may be worth paying a lot more for the rig to not have to have a plug because I live in an apartment now, so I don't have anywhere to plug this in. If I get the other one, I'm going to have to beef up the alternator and make sure that the battery is charged while the engine is running. Not a huge deal, but another step to take. So if we are approaching the generation of cordless RVs, in so much as the system's not necessarily running the air conditioner, then it may be for future resale value better to invest in something like that, pay more, to not have to worry about a plug. Yeah. And not have to turn on a generator. Because in reality, if I was sitting on the side of the road and had my agent off duty, I'm not allowed to say this, but please come inside anyway, sign out, I couldn't run the AC unless I had the generator, which is loud. So there could be some pluses and minuses there. But look at those 2 options I gave you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've owned one of them and what your experiences have been. Like any RV, some people have wonderful experiences with a brand and some people have horrible. You kind of just have to gamble. And the last thing, not really to make a decision about, but something that I think people should know is you're shopping for a Class B. This will be my 2nd Class B. is the side door. And some people sent me ideas where the side door was just a standard narrow RV door. And I said, well, that's not going to work because a whole part of this is having that big door open and being able to see inside and having my Coldwell Banker branding above the desk and maybe some pictures of houses I've sold on the side. And so I really need that openness. For me, at this point, and with what I'm going to use it for, that I need 100%. A little narrow door. Nobody's going to stick their head in a little narrow door. I want to bring people into Battle Bus. Versus the Babe Bus, where I wanted people to stay the hell away. And that is the tip that I'll give you, is that when you have an RV with that large slide-out door on a Class B, people gravitate to the rig. They can see you in it. They can see the inside of it. They have questions about it. They want to check it out. I would be standing like in the kitchen making dinner and someone would come up, they want to ask about the rig, and I'd start talking to them and they would step up inside of it. And that's really alarming when you're by yourself out on the road, but they just have like they're at the RV store. It's the strangest thing, but when you have that large sign door, you are going there, you don't have any privacy. People will come to it, and you need to consider whether you want that or not. And the other thing to consider when picking out the side, how the rig is laid out, is that when you have the large sliding door, your utilities, your air conditioning, heat, all that, go right out of it. So every time you open up that big door, if you've been banking up cold air or hot air, it's gone. And if you have kids and they're in and out and in and out, I just need you to know that about that kind of RV is that no privacy and temperature control is way harder. There's also much bigger chance of leaks around the gasket that seal that door. I did have that issue and had to fix it. So you have to consider all that. That said, if I was going to do another van conversion, which I wouldn't, I've did it once, I never do it again. I'll say that I've seen a lot of van conversions for sale. I think we're maybe coming to the end of that phenomenon. Is that in retrospect, I wish that I had gotten rid of that door or built more cabinetry across that door, because that's about 4.5 feet of space that could be cabinets or anything else that you lose to keep that door open. So if it was permanently shut, or if there was cabinetry across it, even if you left the door but you still had cabinetry, you just couldn't exit from that door, you would have so much more space. Or permanently close off the back door, because I never open the back doors. Having the back doors wide open exposes you to way too much. You still get people coming in and looking at it. You still get people, and it's easy to steal something off of it, or you turn around and there's like someone's head in the rig, and they were never open. So there's no point. You have 2 massive door systems on a Class B, and you only need one. You really do. So just something to think about as you're looking at a rig. In retrospect, in my first rig, when I was living in it, I wish I had the small narrow door, but that is not what I need it for this time. I need the big open one. And it's just going to be a fact of life that if the weather is not perfect outside, because of that large door, I'll very much be exposed to the elements. And it is what it is. So again, I could really use some feedback on which rig, and then given the fact that I cannot advertise it, it's an office that I cannot advertise it or people are in it, does that still make this worthwhile? And if not, we'll go find some other crazy thing to invest in and make part of my whole business. But feedback is very appreciated and welcome. And I'm going to go take care of this. I think people thought today out at work that I had been canoodling. And I was like, no. I canoodled with an acid peel. And I did not win at all. All right, weirdos, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments section. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.